All right, all you need is your foam roller, a longer one for movement patterns like in the standing, but we're not going to lie on it today, so you don't need a long one. And then a set of weights as an option, right? So excuse me, go ahead and just start yourself in maybe shoulder width distance and start that rocking back and forth. As you go there, think of that gentle zipper pulling the abs up and in. Not a lot of weight load into our core at this point in time. We're just gently mobilizing. So we just need a gentle zipper. Rocking back and forth. And then leave those heels there. And let's just bend it down, knees, hips, ankles, bend, and then send the hips away. Start that little rocking back and forth here again. So in this position, I'm just going to turn. We're just going to start that little rocking. If I'm a little tight in the hip flexor or in the lower back, maybe I'm up here with my elbows bent. I'm still getting that stretch, just not quite as deep. If it feels good, you can lower down. If it still feels good, straighten out those arms for me. Inhale, exhale. Now, the farther you lean back and lift up the balls of your feet, so I'm kind of frozen here for a second, that will give you that extra stretch in the hamstrings. Don't be shy about that. Bend the knees, slowly coast all the way up, and then just give a really lazy lay back. So I'm just looking over one shoulder, looking over the other. Maybe I move that roller with me, so I start to get a little twist with the lateral flexion or extension, sorry. And I'm inhaling, exhaling. And then bring it back to center, bend the knees, slowly fold it out again. I'm going to start in tight higher up and start shifting from left to right. If my body says, yep, that's working for me, I'm going to send that roller away and go deeper. If it's a little tight, I'm going to stay up. And I'm just going to shift. Now, as you shift, I want you to heel toe a little farther open. So I am quite wide now, quite wide. And I've lifted my chest and I'm turning it more into a lunge from left to right. Turn your knees, hips, ankles out a little bit, and then stay facing one direction. So that knee, hip, ankle is turned out more than the other one. I'm going to come down to my hand, see how that feels. My knee's going over my toe. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not a big deal. Still feels good. Maybe I come to my elbow. If you've got more range and you want to come right down and kind of even put that booty down and get a nice big mobility movement in there, please go ahead. Press out of that one. Yeah, there you go, Lisa. Go as deep as you want. Now I'm pressing into my other side. I'm going to press, fold in and out. If you want to go from left to right and it's feeling good for you, go ahead and continue left, right. As this feels good, if I'm okay with it, I'm going to sneak down to my elbow. As I'm doing that, I'm trying to push out with my arm on my inner thigh so that my hip is getting a nice lateral rotation happening. Deeper and deeper. If you want to put that roller down and literally coast from left to right, go ahead. Go as deep as you want. And then I'm going to press myself to tall. I'm quite wide here. So I'm going to heel toe all the way in. So lateral, internal, external rotation, all the way into pencil. So now I'm right tight into my pencil. I'm going to rise up and lower down. So as little pressure as you can into your fingertips. Really focus on not sickling out on your ankles. Come up onto the ball of the foot. Again, if you've got bunions or arthritis, be mindful. Pulse it up for me. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Heels together, toes apart. Small little piece of pie. Lift and lower. Again, gently drawing the abs in. Don't overdo. Go 2 more. Pulse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then internal rotation, toes together, heel apart. Don't make it huge. Just a little. Try and make it equal on both sides, though. We tend to have a fairly good difference on left and right when it comes to internal and external rotations. Just kind of double check, look down, try and see it's somewhat symmetrical on both sides. Pulse it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Heel toe open to what you'd consider a strong squat position, and let's power that out. So I'm sending my booty back. Knees, hips, ankles back. Bugging me, I'm up here. I'm not as low, right? If I feel good, down I go. I'm not looking for a passive squat with the tailbone tucking under and going into flexion. I am looking for neutral maintained. So only as far as you can go without dropping the tailbone around the corner. Now go ahead and stay down there and pulse. 5, 4, shift your shoulders down. 3, 2, stay here. Lift your heels, lower your heels. No movement happening in the back. We're just coming up on the ball of foot and lowering it down. Now stay up on the ball of foot, move the knees and the hips. Pulse, pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2. Pull the roller in towards you. Stand up powerful. Lower your heels. Go singles. Squat, releve, grow tall, and lower. One more time, squat, releve, grow tall, reverse, rise up tall, squat down, lower your heels, send the roller out, send your booty out, drop down into the stretch. Again, little rocking back and forth, or bend into one leg, bend into the other, whatever feels good here. And then slight bend to the knees, tuck your tailbone and roll as you come up. So we're adding that roll. At the top, give me an extension, a little bit more purpose in that extension. Holding here, look towards one side, gently look towards the other. Bring it back to center. With that long spine, in that natural curve, hinge forward. Exhale, bend the knees, float, and roll it up. Give me that extension again. Roll your shoulders back. In that long line, hinge forward. Stay here. Bend your elbows if you're a little tight. I'm going to heel toe my feet into parallel sits bones. I'm starting my poodle wag. So I'm getting that lateral flexion happening now in my spine. Wiggle your tailbone left, right. If it feels good, push the roller out and look to your hip as you bring it around the corner. Remember, if you're a little tight up here, you're still getting the movement. My knees don't have to be jammed straight. My elbows don't have to be jammed straight. Right? We can be soft in our joints. We should be soft. Back to center, bend your knees. Pull that roller in, press into it a little bit. Give me that extension again. Open that up. Look over one direction. Watch your shoulder doesn't follow. Gently look over the other. Bring it back to center. Pull it all the way forward. Widen out your stance. Roller goes off the toe on one side. Hinge forward. Give me that nice little stir the pot. So tendency here is to hunch and round. Squat. I'm holding my squat. I'm just in a nice, powerful squat. As deep as you want to go, but it's a squat. Circle the other direction. The arm holding the roller, draw it down through the shoulder blade. Then take that arm and saw. So I'm actually going into a standing sawing action, right? One of our mat movements. I'm sawing, getting that rotation happening in my spine. And if it feels good, I'm going to hold that hand there, push the roller away, and peekaboo up. Now, if I can go deeper, go right ahead. If it feels good to drop deeper, please do so. Come back to center, fold all the way up. Bring your roller in tight to your hip, reach up. Now, if you've got some shoulder stuff going on, I'm going to start here and start a lateral flexion. If it feels okay, I'm going to straighten that arm more actively. Still feels good. I'm going to start to lean my hip in opposition to the roller and my hand. Trying to get a little deeper and deeper into that movement. And then when it feels good, I'm going to hold on to that. Look down to the roller, lean my hips in opposition, and breathe as big as I can into that rib cage. One more big breath, and then bring it all the way out. Give a little wiggle, roll that shoulder, a couple little back strokes, maybe some full back strokes. And then the other side, widen it, squat and hinge, and stir your pot. Again, tendency on a lot of the stretches that are in forward flexion is we round, right? And then we get this pressure in the back, which is kind of where we spend all day. Give me a powerful squat. Hold that body weight. Go ahead and circle the other direction. Inhale, exhale. We don't need to put extra pressure into our back if we don't need to, right? Take that arm, cross it, and give me that little sawing action. So I'm just sort of coming across the leg. I can be nice and high, or I can be way down by my shin. Yeah. And now hold it there. Rotate, push that roller away. Peek through the armpit or above, depending on how that back is feeling. Take a nice strong inhale. Let the arm come back to center. Roll it carefully up. Bring your roller in tight. Reach. Start with that little elbow as we go into lateral. Breathe as you go. Working for you. You start lengthening it out. Maybe if it's a bit tight, you're going slower to find that first couple pulls into lateral flexion. Feels good. You're leaning the hips the opposite direction of the arms that are pushing. And then stay where you feel a nice stretch, but you're not like, oh my God. And then look to the floor. Breathe into that rib cage as you press it away. You're opening up all those intercostal muscles, the whole lateral side of your spine. Bring it all the way out. Find yourself in your passive position. So lateral rotation, roller into the hands. We're going to bring it up. Give me on this up a little extension wherever your spine will go. Big breath. And then we're going to come all the way down. So depending on how your hips are, maybe down is here. And you're going to go side to side. Maybe down is all the way, and you're going to start shifting your hips from left to right. Just kind of listen to where your hips will go here. If you want to move the roller and get even deeper, go right ahead. If it's a tight in one direction, you want to stop for a second, put your knee down, give a little lean back, get a little stretch in there. Go right ahead. So listen to your own body here, you guys. And then come back to center, press the heels down, decrease that lateral rotation, and come all the way up again. As you come up, you're picking up your roller, lengthen that heart. Bring it back, and let's do our figure eight. So rollers in front, squat down, rotate it, lateral flexion, extension, lateral flexion, and as deep as you want in your squat. And then bring it up. Inhale as we come up. Exhale, spin down. And one more time. On the down, we're going to switch directions, you guys. Go the other way. Bring it around, lift the heart, open it, and bring it through. Go one more this direction, you guys. Finish your last one. Use your breath. Big inhale. Bring it down, and on the down, you're just going to peel to tall, roll those shoulders back. Beautiful. So in this position, couple options. I'm going to take that roller and put it behind my neckline. Because it's a roller, I can go behind the neckline. It's not jamming in. Now, right off the bat, there's a big stretch when I put my hands wide up here. So that's not going to happen. You can go here with this movement so that you're wider, all right? But you're not kind of fighting the neck. From this position, bring your feet in sits bones. Give me a lateral flexion. That'll give you a pretty deep stretch. And then bring it all the way up. Laterally flex the other way. Don't lean forward. Stay right between two planes of glass. One more time. Lateral flexion. Bring it up and laterally flex the other way. Bring it up. In this position, we're going to add our rotation. So I stay sits bones and I rotate. The pelvis really wants to go. Rotate. Try and look to this hand here. Nice big breath. And bring it back. Rotate the other way. So if I take the hand that's in front here and I push a little farther with that arm on my roller, it'll give me more rotation. Bring it back to center. Watch you don't turn it into flexion though. Press that, get that pec getting stretched out. So it's pushing my chest back. And then the other direction, rotate. Bring it back, sneak that nastiness out, relax those shoulders. So we're going to go into a bit more legs, you guys. Roller goes forward. Oh, my roller's totally bent. If your roller looks a little bent, kind of squish it back into shape. Step forward with one leg, step back with the other. I have roller on the back leg side. If I want to wait, this is where I'm going to grab it. Lunge in, lunge out. So we're finding that nice, powerful. Now, again, if you're a little tight or sore, maybe you're here, not going as deep. If you're feeling good, down you go. Yeah, it still feels good. You can get that weight moving, right? Let's go 4 more. Up on that back ball of foot if you have no issues. If you have some issues, put it down. Don't turn it out as deep. Go 1 more. Now stay down here. Lower the weight down. Use that roller. Inch from the foot in. Come up into your scale. We're going to lower and lift. So if I'm, again, a little tight in the back, I'm up here. No pressure into the back, firing the glute and the hamstring. If I'm okay, I'm getting into the balance. I'm lower. Row that leg in. Now bring yourself all the way to front. The knee is up. Watch your hip is not hiked. Press to the sky. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to take that leg. We're going to step it back, but not as far because I'm hitting my lunge. Down and up. I'm going to pull down from the sky. As I go down, I pull down. 4 more. And 3. Again, as little pressure as you can into your roller. If you don't need it, don't use it. Now stay down here. Little tuck of the tailbone. And I'm going to rotate away from the roller. Exhale, little bow and arrow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hold as deep as you want. So if you can go lower, go ahead. Go 1 more for me. And then bring that knee carefully down. Uncurl your back toes. Move your front leg forward a bit. So here, I want to go forward. I'm going to slide my roller in between. This is my leg that's in front. I'm putting the weight on the other side, so remember which leg I've done. Hands down to your roller if you can reach it, and move in and out of the stretch first of all. Getting those hips warmed up. Now, if that feels good, stay in that. And you can keep your fingertips on the roller, maybe your hands on your quads, one arm, the other arm. Maybe you reach back, get a little quad stretch, open that chest up. Wherever you feel a nice challenge, but not overdoing. Couple really big breaths into the chest line. Gently let go of that. Give a lateral rotation of your front leg and come back down again. So I'm not going super deep in this position. If you want to go deeper, go down to your elbows. This is my area where my hip is giving me a bit of grief. So I've actually gone from here. I feel it kind of impinging a bit. I'm pulling my hips back a little bit, and I'm going to give a little wave back here. But if you've got the mobility to go down there, down you go. If it feels good to push into that knee and give a little gecko, go ahead. Just remember, honor the body, bring it back to center, and go parallel with the front leg. Get into your hamstring stretch. So here you can point and flex that front foot, shoulders are drawn down. Inhale, exhale for me a little bit. And then both hands in the middle to the front leg, bring that other leg around. So we're going to do a little bit of planking here before we switch legs. Make sure you remember which leg is going up. So if I'm staying in a shorter plank, I'm going to ignore the roller and just come up without it. If I'm using the roller, I'm going to lift up, push it back to my shins, bring my toes off. Once I'm there, I'm going to stretch forward with one elbow, put it down, stretch forward with the other. Bring my legs right together, and I'm going to start a forward-backwards movement. Now, if that roller goes over your knees, move it back on the shins a bit. So I want to hold a neutral spine, a supported spine. Don't stick your bum way up in the air. Tuck your tailbone under a little bit. Come forward, come back. Let's go for 4. And go 3. Get some heat going on in that core. And 2. And 1. Hold it center and hold stationary. Squeeze your legs together. Hold for 5. Shoulders into your back pockets. 4, 3, 2. Pull your knees in. Lower them. Go ahead and press back into child's pose or sit tall to get that opener. So I've gone into sit tall, kind of beach pose here, opening my chest. The roller can be behind you or not. You don't have to use it. Bring yourself into neutral. If the roller is on your feet, just kick it out slightly. You are going to use it for the standing right away. And let's go down dog. Curl those toes. Now, we haven't curled the toes really deep here yet. So before you go down dog, curl your toes and sit back into your toes. Get your stretch there. If it feels a little tight, up you come. Still a little tight, hands behind your back. Press and open, right? Lengthen that out. The bigger you breathe in arrow pose, the more stretch you're going to get. Relax that out. Hands to the floor. Now lift into that down dog. Start giving a little prancing from foot to foot. Breathe into that. So here we're going to go a little deeper in the hamstring. Push one heel down, send the other leg to the sky. Get a good grip on your mat here, you guys, and press into the hamstring. So we're just going to hold here, getting that stretch into the hamstring line. Your leg on top can be bent or it can be straight, up to you. But give that nice little single leg stretch. And then gently bring that down. Set the other foot, take your time. Extend up. Again, top leg can be bent or straight. And find that little stretch. Drop into those shoulders. Inhale, exhale for me. Then slowly bring that leg back. Prance into your heels. So I've come out of my shoulder stretch and now I'm paying attention to my calves and to the articulation into my toes. Leave your heels down if you can. Drop down into your stretch and then walk your hands into your feet. 4, 3, all the way in on 2 and 1. Bend the knees when you need to. And then fully bend. Support your hands on your quads if you need to, you guys. And slowly fold up. Give a little wiggle up here. And if you've got that roller behind you, go ahead and grab it. Stepping forward with my opposite foot, stepping back. And again, if I'm using the weight, go ahead and pick that up. And then start that forward lunge. So again, I'm going to start cautious because left and right are not necessarily the same. See how it feels on this side. Maybe I'm starting delicate. Maybe I can go bigger. reach and press. The spine stays neutral the whole time. I'm up on that back ball of foot. Go 2 more and 1. Now I'm going to stay in the forward. I'm going to sneak that leg in. I'm going to teeter-totter, pull and reach. Again, a little tight, stay taller here, right? Not too bad. Forward you go. I can be parallel to the floor if doable. 4 more, 3, 2, and as you come out of that 1, bring it to the top. Watch not hip height and press everything to the sky. 5, 4, little breath, 3, 2. Now take that foot, step back, not super far, and then you're into your lunge. We're going to pull down and press up. Pull down and press up. Little tuck of the tailbone. On this one, try to avoid the knee going way over the toe, not because it's wrong, but because I want you to get the back leg involved. So if you move your pelvis back a little bit, you'll feel your back knee into that flexion. Now, let's say that bothers you. Then you're going to keep that weight forward a bit. Now go ahead and stay down there. Little tuck, reach the arm and rotate. Let's go 4. Go as deep as you want in this lunge. 3, 2, and 1. Gently bring that knee down, uncurl your toe, slide that weight forward, move your foot forward, sink into your lunge, rollers going between my legs. Again, I can use that roller. I'm going to move in and out of this stretch initially. When it feels good, I'm going to stay in the stretch. One hand, then the other hand, lift that heart. If it feels good, reach, reach. If it still feels good, you can grab that back leg. Whoop, as I fall over. Maybe not today. Open the chest. Breathe into that, you guys. If you can, push your hips forward, get a little more hip flexor stretch. And then gently let go of that. Go into your lateral rotation. Again, I'm staying quite high here. If you can go deeper, down to your elbows. Once you start your hold position, then start your sway of left and right through your pelvis. And then when it feels good, you can gently glide into that gecko. As I do that, I put a little bit of pressure into my knee. Maybe the sole of my foot shines up to the sky. That's fair. Couple little inhales, exhales. And then derotate. From here, we're going to parallel out again and go into that hamstring stretch with a point flex of the front foot. One more little breath there. And then both hands on the roller, bring that knee around. Make sure you're somewhat towards the center of your mat so that you can reach forward again with the hands. We're going to do one more plank here, you guys. Reach forward, sneak that to the lower part of the shins. Now, if this is challenging, stay here and the knees will rest and then you'll pop up. If you're okay, and you can do that on the elbows. If you're okay, walk the elbows forward, straighten out the legs. I like to hug my legs together. And here I'm going to pull my knees in and press them away. Drive those knees in. The booty will lift a bit. Let's go for 4. Nice and powerful. And 3. Watch when you send your legs away, you keep supported spine. 2. And 1. Now send the legs away. Lower your belly slowly to the floor. Now that roller being underneath your feet will make this more aggressive. So move it to your feet versus your shin or get it right out of the way. So I'm doing my floppy now, guys. I'm not pulling up through my abs. I'm nice and lazy. It's kind of giving a little left, right. If that's too deep, I'm going to take my elbows out to the side and go here. Still too deep, I'm going to take my elbows even farther and go here, right? Not deep enough, I'm going to push into my palm and lengthen up a little farther. Increase the inhale, exhale. We're getting into that extension into the lower back. Elbows go out, let it come all the way down. Push yourself back like a push-up. Bring your feet in and bring your roller in closer. So I'm going to put the roller, we're going to sit right on that roller. I'm going to put it just in front of my knees and crawl myself forward. Sitting your booty down on that roller. Have your weights close if you want them. Again, you don't have to use them, but have them close by should you want them. And now I'm on my sits bones. Actually, I'm kind of on my tailbone sit bone. I'm forward of my sit bone. And from here, I'm going to grab behind, do some diamond rollbacks. So I'm going to reach forward, round my spine and lengthen. I am in lateral rotation, so I'm getting a nice hammy stretch here. And then pulling the abs in, using my feet to give a bit of traction, I'm going to lengthen to tall. I'm going to exhale, sweep around and reach. And then inhale, sit to tall. Again, exhale, reach around. So all the way to straight is obviously more aggressive. Be careful with that. It's a big hammy stretch. One more time, leave it in the reached out position. Bend your elbows and fold forward into the hamstring stretch. Try and get your lumbar spine vertical to the earth. So instead of lying flat, pull your hips and your ASIS back. And then peel to tall. Beautiful. Take the legs so that they're in the corners of the mat. And I've moved my booty back, so I'm literally forward of my sits bones, almost on my hamstring muscle versus in that smaller part. If it feels good, you can add the weights. If not, go free. And I'm just going to rotate, take a peek, and bring it back. Exhale, rotate, take a peek, bring it back. Exhale, bow and arrow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. We're adding on. Exhale here. Sweep it open. Bring it back straight. Careful if you're using the weights. Rotate, take a peek, sweep it open, bring it back. One more time. Pull, peek, sweep, return, pull, peek, and sweep, and return, and release out. Roll those shoulders. Place those weights on this side of the roller, your back side. Pull your hips forward and allow your body to just kind of wave down. Take your elbows, put that into where would be right underneath the shoulder blades, the tips there. And I'm just starting a little left-right. Kind of looking to the left, looking to the right. Now I'm going to interlace my hands, support my neck. I'm still going left and right. And now I'm going to start some extension. Excuse me, open that up and bring it in. So I'm not worrying about the sit-up per se here quite yet. My focus is more the thoracic extension. If I think of putting a little steel rod, horrible sounding, through my xiphoid process or slightly below it, that's kind of where my roller is. That's the junction through my rib cage that I'm extending over and bring it back. Now, lie back part way, but keep your chin tucked. Bring your elbows into peripheral. Get your feet underneath you. Lift your hips and roll. If you've got a hoodie or longer hair, just kind of scoop those up. So as I roll back to my shoulders, I actually come up on the balls of my feet a little bit, and I kind of look down to the back of my body so I can, like towards my elbows, so I can get it higher in the shoulder. And then I lower my bum and kind of look to my pubic bone to get higher and get that movement. So it is this sort of seesaw back and forth. Your roller will move on the floor. Just kind of move with it. So a small hack on quad stretch. If you've got the knee flexibility, have the roller right underneath your shoulder blades. Tuck your feet in really tight to your bum. And then when you kind of roll back a little bit, so it goes almost where there's no ribs. Now, as you pull in, lift your heels, and lower the knees away. Oh, quad, right here. So I've lifted, and now my booty's up, and I'm pushing into my quad muscle. Yeah, there it is. And then roll that back. One more time, lift and press. Press into that quad muscle. Roll that back. Beautiful. Go ahead and prop yourself up on your elbows. Knees can be bent or reaching. And I'm going to go into my roll-ups, right? I'm going to go over. If this is uncomfortable, hands on your neckline. Inhale, cervical nod. You're going to leave the roller. Exhale, round it through. Right here, we're going to fold. So the lumbar spine is staying parallel to the earth, and I'm folding. And then I'm going to roll it back. So right now, my weights are trapping my roller in place so it doesn't really move. And then over I go. Inhale, cervical nod. Exhale, roll it up. Fold forward. Let's do two more. Open it. Lift that heart. Inhale up. Exhale over and fold. If your back is miffy, don't fold as far forward. So maybe I'm just going to here. That's okay. Maybe I don't get that full flexion today. That's fine. And then over we go, or bend the knees. Fold it forward again. Now on this one, stay rolled back. I'm going to bring those feet in a bit more, interlace my hands, and now make it a purposeful sit-up. So my pubic bone is staying, my back is staying maybe neutral or slightly supported, and I'm bringing my ribs to my hips. I'm not tucking my tailbone under. My neck is not going back and forth. I'm keeping my head heavy in my hands with a lot of support, and I'm crunching. Now, if this feels good, you can add a march. So as I come up, I march, and I go down, and I march. Feels good. You can straighten out the legs. I'm still bending the knee to pull it in. If that feels good, I can come in with a straight leg, right? I can still go right back into the arch and curl, or I can now go more just neutral and curl. Listen to where your back's going to take you. Let's go 2 more. And go 1 more. Now stay with the legs reaching away. I definitely could have them bent. I'll start with bent, and then you can go from there. From here, I'm staying rolled up, and I'm reaching my arms towards the sides of my legs. So I'm laterally flexing. I'm reaching. I'm doing a lateral flexion, but I am slightly rolled up. So I'd be like in a hundreds position as I'm reaching from left to right. That's working for you. Straighten out the legs and do the reach. So I'm not lifting and lowering. I'm laterally flexing, but I'm maintaining a thoracic and a cervical flexion. Now I'm going to play with that. I'm going to have my hands behind and lift in an oblique. Lift to the oblique. So now I'm crisscrossing. If it feels good, bring in the opposite knee of the crisscross. Again, I could have the knees bent, and I could be doing this. More unstable is legs straight. And I could take this to a scissor if I wanted to. This time we are crunching up and over. Let's go for 4. Should feel those obliques kicking in. 3 and 2 and 1 and release. Put your elbows onto your roller. Bring yourself up. Beautiful. Bring that roller all the way around. Sneak it underneath your knees. Bring your weights in closer beside your booty. Grab behind your knees and let's roll it down. So we're going to open up the hips the opposite direction and turn on your glutes and hamstrings. Now, if you don't want to use the roller, if you've got something going on in the back or it's just not a happy place today, bring your feet flat to the floor. Otherwise, roller in place. And we're going to articulate as we bring those hips up. Stay here for a brief moment. If you're okay with it, slide your thumbs, make L's. Slide that not into the lower back, but where the bone, where you feel a lot of the sacrum bone. Put your hands supporting underneath you and give those hips a little press to the sky. And then let them come down a bit. And then exhale, a little press to the sky. Careful. Now, if you're very unstable in the pelvis, I would say only come up to supported spine. Don't look for any extension here. Careful with it, right? And then roll it all the way down. So let's get into those hamstrings. If I want to work harder, I'm going to have the arms just reaching to the sky. Makes me more unstable as well. So I could go here, right? Or up. Peel it all the way up. Take a nice big breath. And then peel it all the way down. Again, you don't have to use the roller, guys. Peel it up. So I am doing articulations or hip rolls here. Now in this one, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to start the open close flies, pec flies in the upper torso. And if that's working for me, I'm going to start the legs. As I open the legs, I'm not going to articulate now. I'm going to booty touches down and then knees come together. So my legs are wide enough on the roller that I can internally, externally rotate the hip in the socket. Butterflies. Let's go 4 more. Squeeze those knees together. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Now keep the knees together. Keep the arms reaching up to the sky. Pulse your bum. 8, 7. Squeeze it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Open to neutral. Peel that down. We're going to do a little reset. Weights to the side of you. Pull the roller in so it's close to your bum. Grab behind your legs. Roll it up. Tabletop. Fingers are facing my booty or they're facing to the side. They're not jammed out backwards, right? Feet strong and lift. Open that chest. If you're okay here, look to the sky. Big breath. And then touch the glutes gently down. Again, lift. Big breath. Touch the booty down. You're squeezing those glutes. They should be waking up here, you guys. And lift. Again, if this is tough, keep your bum down a bit. Otherwise, up we go. Hold here for 5. Squeeze those glutes. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Back into single leg work on the hamstrings, you guys. Roll it down. Again, I'm going on the roller. If you know you get crampy, no roller. Bring it in close to the bum. I'm not going to start with my weights. I'll choose them if it feels good. If you want them, up you go right away. Peel up with both feet on. Set yourself. Now, if you're tight in the lower back, drop down a bit and give me a slightly supported spine. So I'm going to move my arms so you can see that. Here I've got an arch going. I feel pressure in my lower back, not a happy place. I'm going to drop a little bit, and then I'm going to rib hip tuck a little bit. And then that secures up my back if I've got anything going on there. Hands also down. So I'm just going to march and march. Now, if you're okay, up come those weights. Still okay. The weights are going to go above the head, which is heavy. And I'm going to continue to march. Keep your left leg in the air. Reach it to the sky or keep it bent, but bring your arms towards it. So everything's in tight. And then I'm going to kick out or toe tap. I've now turned my palms so that when my hands go over the head, the back of my hand goes to the floor, and then I bring it in. If this feels good, straight leg. The foot that's on the floor, watch you're not laterally rotating it out. We're keeping it in parallel. We're putting more pressure towards the big toe ball of foot area versus rolling out on the baby toe. Now keep everything reaching to the sky a little easier. Everything reaching away a little harder. Squeeze up your butt. 5, 4, 3, 2. Nice. 1. Foot goes down. Weight comes up. And I peel it down. Stretch out that leg. So the leg that was in the air doing the movement, it stays on the roller. The other leg comes into the air for a stretch. Grab a stretch strap if you need it, guys. Inhale, exhale. I'm doing a little point and flex on the foot just to get a little extra stretch in there. And then bring that down. Bring the roller in nice and tight or no roller at all. Weights optional. Up you come into your position. So we're going to start with the marching first again, just so that it's even work on each leg. Otherwise, if I go right to the single leg, that one leg hasn't done the marches. If it feels okay, up comes the arms. Still okay, back of the hand holding above my head, but my abs are engaged. Now leave your opposite leg. So for me, it's the right leg staying up there. I can toe tap. I can bend and stretch, or I can do a straight leg. And the arms, in addition, are always harder, right? Let's go for 5. Squeeze that glute, lift those hips. 4, use your breath. 3. And 2. And on the last one, keep everything either reaching to the sky or reaching long. Pulse it up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Foot down, booty down. Put your weights quite far out to the side. Stretch out the leg that was not on the roller this time. And go into the hamstring stretch on the other leg. Point and flex. Breathe as you go. Use your feet, pull the roller in right to your bum. Bring your hips up, bring your tailbone onto it. So here I'm going to do a small amount of rocking or clocking. So it's not on my tailbone glutes. It's slightly higher, but it's also not in my lower back. Having said that, if that little gentle stretch, I'm not putting full body weight into it because that's a lot on the spine. But if it feels good to go a little bit anterior tilting here, so you can see my pelvis tilting into anterior and then coming to neutral, but I am keeping a fair amount of weight in my legs, right? And I'm just trying to invite a little anterior tilt going on there, just opening up that lower back. If that's a little too much, bring the roller down more on the sacrum versus higher up. And again, it's very modest posterior anterior tilt. Nice strong breath. And then we're going to go either into hip lift toe tap. So I'll start there, or rollovers. So if you know rollovers and you're good to go, you can go right into it. If you don't want to use the roller, you can kick that roller out right away. I am going to start with the roller lower down on the sacrum versus the lower back. Knee fold one leg, knee fold the other. I'm modifying to start with, so I'm crossing the legs. I'm going to push into my hands a little bit, do a hip lift, uncross, and a gentle toe tap. Cross the opposite leg over, hip lift, uncross, toe tap. So your range of motion can be as big as you want. If you're like, no, I'm good, I got that. I'm going to send the legs out, inhale up, push into my roller with my wrists, and over I go. Now, if you've gone into your first over and you're like, oh God, that's tight, stay here in a little plow and just kind of open up the back of the hamstring and the back of the spine. And then slowly peel down, tailbone anchors, and then only reach the legs as far away as you don't lose rib hip. Inhale up, exhale over. Now, if you know you don't need that roller, kick it out. Peel it down vertebrae by vertebrae. Moving it out of the way is harder. Reach the legs away. That roller underneath the booty does make the exercise more modified. So if you're having a tough time with getting the bum lifted, get that roller underneath. Sometimes it's strength, sometimes it's mobility. The last two, we're going to add a circle. Little touch. Remember, if you're doing the hip lift toe tap, ignore this. My tailbone anchors, I'm going to circle my legs down and away. Inhale up. Exhale over. Little toe tap. Laterally rotate. Peel down. Anchor the tailbone. Circle it away. Bend the knees in. Fold one down. Fold the other. Keeping the roller there. Push it so it's almost coming out the butt end. And then straighten out the legs carefully. So I'm not going perfectly to straight, but my hips and my pubic bone are now higher than my belly button, causing a stretch through the hip flexor. If that's too aggressive, maintain the same alignment, but bend the knees so that that less lever length pulls less onto the hip flexor. And just kind of move in and out here, you guys. You can wave your legs. You can do a little bit of the circles, right? So if you're feeling that tightness through your hips, I'm just going into one leg here. I'm pulling it internal, rotated external, push it out. If that butt on the roller is bothering you when you're doing this, remove the roller. And then reverse the hip circle. So I open into lateral as I pull my knee in. I fold it in as I push it away. And then settle into that hip. Let's do the other side. Doesn't really matter which way you rotate first. Notice that your rib cage and your pelvis might shift a bit as you're doing this. That's okay. We're looking for the mobility back into the hip here. We were just holding them strong. Change directions if you have not done so yet. Bring your feet flat to the floor. Kick that roller out with your fingers. Knee fold one. You're going to push that roller farther. Grab behind the knees. Up we go. Beautiful. Pull that roller back in. And let's get that booty a little more open. So cross one knee over top. You're going to lean to the side of the knee that's crossed. I'm going to lean over and I'm just going to roll into that ass cheek. Now, if I stay up on my hands, I'm going to have that roller on the biggest, meatiest part of, meatiest? It sounds wrong. The largest part of the butt. And I'm just going to roll into that. The farther I roll over to the side, the more I'm going to get into my piriformis and my lateral rotators. Totally up to you. Now, bring it back to center. Not really center. You're still up to one butt cheek. Drop an elbow. Drop the leg down. Lower it down. So now you're not into where the ribs are. You're still on the crest of the pelvis. And start a forward backwards movement. So I'm going right off to my side and all the way back. All the way off. I can rotate. So I'm basically almost facing down. That gets into a little bit of the TFL. And you're going right across the attachment points of glute me, glute min, glute max. Right, I'm going all the way across. Be careful with this as you go. If that is tender, do it carefully. If you find a trigger, right, that nice little treasure, you can hang out there for a second and do a little bit of back and forth on your treasures. So you're going to notice I discovered a treasure a little lower down. So I moved that roller lower down and I'm facing quite far forward. Play around. Everyone's treasures will be somewhere different. And then slowly bring it back. Come back up strong. Go into the 4 stretch first. Hang out there. Just hang out in that 4 stretch. This isn't deep enough for you. Send your booty down to the floor and curl in deeper. Yeah, Kylie, you could go right down into this, right? Because you've got a fair amount of mobility. Yeah, yeah. Go to where you're getting your stretch because you won't feel it up where I am. I'm happy right where I am. I don't need any deeper. And now roll over to the side and now massage the glute. So come back up. Yeah, there you go, Kylie. Come back up and now roll her into that glute. Now, if that's really aggressive with your knee crossed, your foot crossed over your hip, drop the knee down and then roll. So I'm still on the main part of the glute and the piriformis. I've just dropped the foot down so the stretch is not as intense and I can just kind of let my pelvis drip open. Right, so I'm just kind of hanging out there. Now I'm going to come down to the elbow. If I am crossed, I am going to uncross and drop it. And now I can roll, but what I prefer here is that forward and backwards. So my back leg is propped up for assistance. Front leg is straight. I'm coming right over and all the way back. So I'm quite high up on the crest of my pelvis. When I roll backwards, I'm not going on the spine. I'm going down close to it, but I'm not going right on it. But I am coming super far forward because for me, this is where my treasures are. As I come far forward, I'm going to hit my ASIS. If I feel I want to go deeper, I can take this top leg, cross it in front, and now go down a little bit, which is getting into my TFL. So now you're going to notice I'm a lot higher. And it's partway into my leg. And that's where I'm getting. So just kind of play around where you've got your tension. Inhale, exhale as you play with that. We did a fair amount through the hips there. So we're just getting a really nice opener. It's a nice little opener, or not so nice, depends on how you feel. And then slowly bring that back. Bring your booty to the floor. Yeah, beautiful. Slide that roller right to the side. I'm going to slide mine to the other side so you have a better visual. And then I'm going to bring myself into my mermaid position. Tuck the back foot. Now, if mermaid is difficult and your hips are tight, sitting with that roller underneath your butt cheek, so I've put it at an angle, it's underneath my butt cheek, it drops my hips down. That's a doable option, right? So if I've got some hip issues happening there, I can tuck it. So from here, I'm going to reach. My hand is on the floor, lined up with my back shoulder. I'm going to rotate, fully rotate the spine. Floor, hand of reaching, wherever you want to go. As you go into this, you're keeping your spine quite neutral. If that's working for you, and I am straightening out the leg, I could slide my back leg to straight as I reach out and keep it straight as I come up. Now that's a little too intense for me today, so I'm bringing that back leg in. But if that's working for you, go right ahead. Let's go 4 more. Right here when you come up, if you're in neutral, see if you can give me a little bit more. And 3 more. Tighten up that tricep muscle here, you guys. We are asking the back arm to work. Last one. Now come all the way up. Tuck this back heel into your booty. Drop this hip down. So you're settling into sitting in your hips. Reach it over. Give me lateral rotation, or sorry, full rotation forward. Bring it back to lateral, bring it all the way out. And let's just lean back as we swing the legs to the other side. So again, left, right, not made equal. If you need to sit up on something to decrease the angle of the hip, that's fair game. Find your spine, rotate. Line this hand up with your shoulder and your back sit bone. Hand down, middle of back, reaching, and down I go. So I always start the first one a little modest with the hand down, see where I'm at. Then maybe in the small of the back. Working for me, out goes the arm. Still working, kick out that leg if it feels okay. You can keep that leg out the whole time. So as I come up, I could extend and keep that extension, reach here and lengthen up. So it's kind of like a twisted pigeon, really. So choose that if it feels good. That's a little much for my spine today. And lift. Let's go 3 more. And 2. And 1. Come all the way up. That heel, that's a ray. Tuck it into your booty. Settle your hip down. Settle that hip. Then find your lateral flexion. Nice big breath there. Find your rotation. Back to your lateral. Reach it all the way out, and we're going on to our belly. So both hands face, and you're going to spin around and come down. So we're going to start with the lazy. So I'm going to start with my elbows quite wide, my hands very close to my face, kind of making a triangle. My nose is kind of in the middle of the triangle. And I'm just going to give a really small, lazy, floppy push-up. And that's where I might start. Working for me, I'm bringing those hands away from my face and pulling them down a little bit so that I can come a little higher. My first would be just to my elbows. And yeah, you guys, if you come all the way up, that's fine. If you've got the range in your back to come all the way up, go ahead. If as you come up, your hip flexors get in the way of this stretch, curl your toes under and bend your knees a little bit. And then you can come up without firing into that hip flexor, because the hip flexor might stop you from getting into your lower back stretch. And we want this to be about the lower back stretch. So remove the equation of the hip flexor by slightly bending the lower half. Now we're going to go into Sphinx and just warm up those back extensors. So my elbow is right underneath my shoulder. If I can. If I can't, then it's farther forward. That's okay. My arms are making 11s. I'm going to pull down with my shoulder blades down into my back pockets, draw my abs up. So my pubic bone is still on, but I've definitely lightened the amount of weight or pressure into it. And if I'm still okay, pull your shoulder blades back and look straight to the wall in front of you. My legs are parallel, open as comfortable. I'm not squeezing my ass cheeks. I'm pulling those abs up. So pretend there's something kind of underneath your belly button and you're like, and pull your abs up away from that. It's the only analogy I can think of. Inhale, exhale, draw it up nice and strong. Big breaths are tough here. Go ahead and increase that volume of breath. 2 more. 1 more. Take your elbows out to the side to allow yourself to come down. Beautiful. Give a little booty wiggle. Find a lateral rotation of hip and socket. Open that up. Shoulders down and away. And I'm going to bring my hands in tighter for swan. So now my thumbs are lined up with the sides of my shoulders, right? My elbows are down. Pull your abs in. The glutes are going to squeeze a bit. I'm going to push that marble and lengthen. So in this one, my pubic bone can come off. Big inhale here. And exhale, lengthen as you come down. So here there's less articulation happening in my spine, and I'm thinking more power. Yes, and bring it down. Now, if that's working for you, go ahead and look off to one side and bring it down. And then look off to the other. Bring it down. Now, on this one, glider 2, if it's in your practice. If you're not in lateral rotation, you will not be able to bend the back leg from nicely. It'll feel awkward. So you have to have that lateral rotation happening in order to bring that knee in or that foot in. One more time, the other direction. Lengthen it. Beautiful, you guys. Bring it all the way down, and let's press back for a little release. So I could go wide legs and hinge into my child's pose, or I can just come right tall into beach pose. Inhale, exhale. Again, my hips are not inviting that really deep flexion. If your hips invite it, go ahead. Inhale, exhale for me, you guys. Breathe as you go. And then we're going to come back just into some parallel, slightly laterally rotated through the hips and just do some extension work. So wiggle yourself to long. This is going to turn into breaststroke. So if your roller's in the way beside you, just kind of kick it forward. Have your hands in what would be swan position, the legs gently laterally rotated. And now I'm feeling for the edges of my mat. And I just realized I am completely crooked. So I'm pulling my pelvis up. I'm getting my big toes kind of centered there, my pubic bone in what feels center. And then I'm bringing myself back down. I was crooked. Reset, right? Take the time to look so that you're working as straight as you can. From here, drop your shoulders down, lift your abs, lift your heart. Don't look up with your neck. And then bring your hands flirting just above by my shoulders. If that's tough, they're lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower down as I dive into the water. My nose touches. Bring your pinkies to your thighs, lift your thoracic. Thumbs to pinkies to thighs, thumbs to shoulders, and dive. So a little bit of breaststroke here, you guys. If that's working for me, I turn on those glutes, I straighten those legs, and I start to lift the legs. So everything lowers down, but I don't disconnect. And then I lengthen as I lift. I'm holding extension here briefly. Thumbs to shoulders, exhale, reach, and come around the corner. Exhale, dive into the water. Inhale, pinkies to thighs, thumbs to shoulders, hold, and dive. One more time. Pinkies to thighs, hold it briefly, thumbs to shoulders, stay here. Lower your legs, keep the extension. Tough, you can lower it down if that back is firing too much. Just move rhomboids. Squeezing the elbows. Draw your abs in tight. If you feel like you could lift higher but can't get there, use your fingers, lift yourself higher with your assistance of your hands, and then remove the hands and hold. And now go into the movement. Sometimes we need to assist ourselves actively to find a stronger hold. That's safe. That's good. Let's go 4 more. 4. Pull those abs in. Working and you feel okay. Squeeze the glutes, lift the legs. 3, 2, 1, and release. Come all the way down, give a booty wiggle. So before going into child's pose or beach pose, turn your head so your ear plugs into the floor. It'll be a neck stretch. Reach your arms iron cross straight out to the side. If that's aggressive, reach them down. Now, my ear is not touching down. I'm on the side of my cheek. I'm going to try and rotate my neck a little bit more so my ear is plugged down. The side I'm looking to, I'm actively reaching that hand down. So I'm going to use my fingertips and actually reach that a little farther. Oh, neck stretch. Inhale, exhale. You can relax your tummy or you can hold it a bit connected. And then slowly let that arm come in. Turn your head the other direction. Plug in your ear. Get that plugged in. Actively reach the arm. Big inhale, exhale here, right? So we're finding that nice, strong breath and that full rotation of the neckline. This might be really hard. Be careful with it. You may not get that ear plugged in. So I'm literally muffling my ear to the floor here with how much rotation I'm trying to achieve in the neckline. Bring it back to center and let's push ourselves into our elephant or down dog. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my microphone on here, you guys. Curl the toes, press. Now, if you need the rounded back, go ahead. Actually, let's go there. Let's go angry cat to cow. Round the spine, big rounding, sit back on your heels. Open that up. So in order for me to feel more rounding here, instead of just sitting back into deep hip flexion, I'm going to bring my fingers in a bit, hollow out my abdomen, and round as I sit back. So I'm not into deep hip flexion. I'm into lower back rounding. And then my hands go forward, right back into my cat position. I'm going to go into my cow. So I'm going to round up. Massive exhale. Here, I'm going to walk my fingertips back. So I'm staying into this rounded position, right? So I'm not really weight bearing into those hands at all. I'm going to pull forward and then go through. And then find neutral. Let's thread the needle. The hand on the floor, I'm going to bring it back a bit and internally rotate it. And then I come through my hand and my knee, closer to my knee. See if I can get my shoulder down, my braid out of my face, and look up to the sky. Arm reaches or it anchors. Inhale, exhale here, you guys. Really big rotation in your spine. Bring the hand back down, push away with it. And then this hand now that's going down, I pull it in closer. So I'm not leaving it in my typical 4-point stance, it's closer. And I'm internally rotating the fingers. And that allows me to get a little deeper into this rotation. Once I'm there, the arm can reach or I can anchor. Use your hip to pull your shoulder open. Once you're where you feel a nice stretch, hang out for some nice big inhales, exhales. And then slowly bring that hand back down, de-rotate, hands nice and strong, curl the toes under, lift, and go ahead. I, again, hold on tight to the mat because I always feel like I'm going to lose my hand position. Go into your prancing, you guys. Inhale, exhale. Now drop both heels, settle into your booty, and go a little deeper into your shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Again, if you can't keep the heels down, lift the heels, bend the knees, and then drop into the shoulders. Slowly walk your hands into your feet. Leave your hand flat. So if that means you need to bend your knees a lot, go ahead. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Everything's dangling. Now, if you like ragdoll, go ahead. I'm doing a supported ragdoll right now. I've got my elbows on my upper quad or lower quad, and I'm letting my head dangle here. Find a couple recovery breaths. And then go ahead and roll yourself slowly coming up, vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your time. Once you're at the top, just kind of give everything a little wiggle and a jiggle. Big breath up, inhale up. Exhale, hands down, center heart. Give a little no in your neckline. And that's that stretch we just did, right? That's that idea of getting full rotation. Come the other way, spread out your fingers, pull your palms back, lift your heart, circle all the way around. Beautiful. Give a few little wiggles here, you guys. And we are done.